What's up, YouTube? It's Reggie, and today I'm getting personal with y'all. I'm gonna be telling you about my journey with God. Um, when I first started my YouTube channel, I came up with the name Chosen One Reggie because I always said I was the chosen one of God. Um, and also my boy So, he made Chosen Ones too, so it was like two in one to me. Um, I thought that like I fell in love with the idea of chosen one. I was like, okay. And then my real name's Reginald Carlisle. So I'm not ashamed of my real name. That's my real name. But Reginald isn't really too. It doesn't roll off the tongue as nice as Reggie. And my whole life, people have been calling me my nickname. So I just go by my nickname for the most part. That's why I made my name Chosen One Reggie, and use the one to kind of stand out. So that's how I got the name. But I'll say when I first started my YouTube channel, I was so far away from God. As far as I've always known God, I've always believed in Him. I said I grew up in church. Grew up in the church, I would say, because when I was younger, I lived in North Carolina, and my grandma used to take me to church with me and my brother, Fred. He used to take us. I mean, she used to take us to church all the time, but the church service was long. Like, there's a lot of. I look back at it and I'll say, my reason for not going to church a lot, for me personally, growing up is, well, not growing up, but later on in life, like, soon as I got out, like, moved to Vegas and stuff, like, I definitely didn't want to seek out, like, going to church just because growing up I had to go to church from like 7 to 3. That was because my grandma was so involved in the church that I love church. You know what I'm saying? Now I understand it, and I definitely have found a church at Livingstone's. That's where I go to church in Reno right now. If you're in Reno area, I would definitely recommend. That's where I go to church now, and every time I go, I definitely feel empowered and learn more about the Bible, which is the goal of church. Be and find your people that help you get closer to God. That's the goal. But for me, going to church all the time and being at the church, whether it's Sunday service, Wednesday service, Bible studies, I was always at the church doing something with my grandma growing up. And as like a 7 year old, like I said, I grew up like going to church and stuff. It definitely made me like not want to go as soon as I wasn't forced to go. So that's how I kind of fell away from the church aspect of my life. And falling away from that, I said, going, if I'm being honest, that was probably when I was the most distant from God, I'll say, because even this video, like I said, I had this webcam for so long, and I was making different types of videos. And like I said, I'm still make all types of videos. Like I said, I want my channel to be based on me, and God is a real big part of my life now. And back then it wasn't. Like when I first made the channel, it was a thought in mind, but I wasn't living that way. And that's why I came to kind of talk to you guys about, because I actually did a testimony May 20th, I mean March 20th, and I did that testimony at the Livingstones at one of the worship nights, and that was like the first time I really like started locking in fully, as far as like I was open to sharing my faith and talking about it. Um, I bought a Bible probably during my senior year, so I'm a sophomore in college, so like 3 years ago, roughly 2, 3 years ago, that's when I got my Bible and really started reading the Bible. But when I was reading it, I wasn't really like understanding it as much because I didn't have a study Bible. I just had like the normal regular Bible. So I read it, but I didn't really understand it and didn't apply it. So it didn't obviously have that same effect as it does now. Like when I read it, I definitely understand it. And I have a study Bible, which actually helps me break it down better and understand it better. And that's something I'm about to start doing too. Is I always do my Bible reading every day, like try to read at least a chapter, and then start my at the start of my day. And what I'm gonna start doing is showing y'all that, like doing the reading with y'all, and then like kind of breaking down my interpretation and what the study Bible says, because I think that will help y'all faith grow too. Because I think that a lot of people turn away from reading the Bible because they don't understand it, or they think that one way is, you know what I'm saying, like if you don't follow it to T, you fail. Like, you know what I'm saying, because in our society it's teach that you're saved by works, but when that's not the truth. In the Bible, it says you're saved. No one deserves to be saved. Because at the end of the day, we all sin. Whether it's cursing, there's obviously different levels. You know what I'm saying? As far as what's viewed by society, but sin is a sin regardless. Whether that's murder, cussing, sexual sins, as far as just having uh, sex before you get married, like I will say for me, I'm definitely guilty of that. I said I don't want to be open. I don't want to hide, and that's the thing that you have to be open. You don't have to open necessarily to people and tell them like everything you've been through. But I think that's for me. That's what I'm planning to do. Like right now, I'm doing is just being open with y'all. Like I said, my senior year, I was kind of just chilling. You know what I'm saying? I had sex, but I wasn't a virgin, but I wasn't like OD. When I got to college, I would say it definitely picked up a lot more because there's a lot more temptations. There's a lot more in your face, pretty girls, pretty like there's a lot of temptation in college. I'll say, and I'll be the first one to tell you it's easy to fall in those ways of being reliant on that and to kind of start valuing that more than your morals. Like I feel like when I got to college, I definitely kind of lost myself as far as. Like I said, I'm always been naturally good at school, so the college aspect, the schoolwork, definitely easier than high school to me because you're actually learning stuff that, like, I don't know. I think your professors are more chill too. So me, just I would say, I had so much extra time that I was just wilding out. So it might be hard to admit that, you know what I'm saying? But I think that's pretty common in college to live the college experience, to want to have all these girls, to want to party every day. It's pretty easy to fall into that. But I'll say for me, the big turning point is really when I started just like realizing that I wasn't fulfilled and that I wasn't where I wanted to be in life, and that I realized like when I really took a seat back that I was a walking contradiction of what I wanted to be. As far as I said, I wanted to was a follower of Christ, that I believed in God, and then I'm living this way. So you can't live for the world and then say that you believe in God. Like you can't. I mean, you can because obviously I did it at a time, but realistically, you shouldn't be preaching. You shouldn't be saying you believe in God and then living for the world because those two conflict. And me personally, I had to find that out in my own life, like that. It definitely makes a big impact when I realized that I was a walking contradiction. And like I said, I had to have people like my bros around me definitely check me on that, and I appreciate them for that because it's like I'd be at times where I'd be wilding out, and then afterwards it's like, oh, let me pray for this. You know what I'm saying? Let me say that, oh, I believe in God and all this stuff. It's like how I thought about it and what really made my mind shift as far as how I viewed, um, like how I was living is at the end of the day when you make a bond with God, like you wanna to all God wants is your heart. He doesn't want perfection because no one's going to be perfect. The only person that was perfect is Jesus, and He died for our sins so that we could live this life in general. Because God knew beforehand none of us are going to be perfect. Whether that's you cussing, sexual immortality, like break any of the commandments. Like I said, lock in here, and you gonna be alright. As far as every day you're working towards being better, as far as living towards what God wanted us to live. And to be saved, all you have to do is just, like I said, stop living for the world and just try to follow those commandments to the best of your ability. And if you fall down, He'll pick you back up. But at the end of the day, you just got to give Him your heart and accept Jesus as your Savior and believe that He died for your sins and rose again 3 days after. And that just basically believing that He died for your sins so that you can stop living by the idea that's preached a lot. And this is why I didn't like going to church before, because I feel like a lot of churches preach this and a lot of people that are Christian preach this, is that, and this is where you got to watch out for like false prophets, is that you're saved by works. You're not saved by works at all. like the point of works and like living not for the world is because out of respect for God, because it's like he already sent his only son Jesus to die for your sins. So why would you continue to live for the world, even though like at that point you're just kind of countering everything you're doing, you know what I'm saying? Because you're doing the works like as far as trying to live a good sin-free lifestyle, you're doing that as a way of thanking God, like, okay, I appreciate you for sending Jesus to die for my sins. Now let me try to live in a better way. Like, and it's not that hard to be honest. Like, I say for me, the biggest thing I dealt with in my life as far as sinning consistently was definitely lust. As far as I said, going to college, I see a lot of gorgeous people, you know what I'm saying? Um, there's a lot of temptation around everywhere, like wherever you go, no matter what. And that's not going nowhere. It's just you gotta choose to be like, okay, well, I'm cool, you know what I'm saying? Like, just because you're around a lot of temptation doesn't mean you have to go into every temptation or fall into these the ways that are preached by our society, because our society really normalizes. For women is not the same, for men is definitely different. That's what I would say. Like for women is like, oh well, you're this, like all these names if you're like sexually active, right? But for men it's like, oh well, go be active, go have fun, have all this stuff. But one, that's not fair, because that's a double standard. That's not fair. You know what I'm saying? Both both should be like how do you say both should be looked down upon, I guess. I mean, not looked down upon, but like if you're gonna look down on one, you gotta look down on both. You feel me? Like you can't have a standard where you're like, oh well, I can do this, but because she doesn't have the same parts, oh well, she should be not doing nothing. But because at the end of the day, it takes two. So there takes a female and a male to, or whatever you into. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to speak on that because I don't feel like getting into that. That's a different topic. Whatever you like, you know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, it takes two to do that, or however you do. You know what I'm saying? If there's a lot of stuff you could do nowadays. I'm gonna leave that to y'all open mind. You know what I'm saying? Specifically, regardless of what it is, you should stop if it's going against the Bible, if that's what you want to believe. Like for me personally, I believe I'm a Christian, and I fully believe that Jesus died for my sins, so that I could be here, so I could live this life. And every day I just try to strive to be better now. And I'll say it definitely wasn't easy. Like I said, growing up in the church, fell away from the church, then got to college, started wilding out. And it really took like a long time for me to even be open to going to church. And that's the talk I had to have with God, where I was just like, God, like, I know I'm getting closer because I started actually having talks with God. Like, I started telling him about my life, like, just talking to him, just saying, not even like praying. Like, people say praying is so important, and 100% it is to a certain degree, but praying's not as easy. Like, it's easier said than done as far as knowing what exactly to say and stuff. And I think people stray away from praying because they're scared of, oh, well, I don't know how to pray. You know what I'm saying? And literally, how I pray and how I like talk to God a lot is I'll just say God and just saying how I feel and just talking to him about everything. Because at the end of the day, he knows everything already. And it's no point in trying to hide something that you can't, like, he already knows, so you might as well be honest with what you done did. And you can't be forgiven for something that you're scared to admit to. And at the end of the day, if he already knows it, you might as well admit to it, you know, and say whatever's on your mind. Like, if you're battling with a certain sin, like for me, I was battling with lust. I had to be honest with God and be like, yo, like, while I do like having sex, at the end of the day, you say I need to give it up, I'll give it up, but I need help. Like, it's not easy. It's a lot easier said than done as far as just quitting temptations, whether that be whatever you're battling with. If you, like, want to quit drinking or smoking or something, you got to talk to him about it. Or, like, whatever your battle is, because everyone's battle is different. If you never had sex, you're probably not going to be battling with sex. So another, like, all those different sins, like if it's cussing for you, you gotta be like, hey, God, why cussing so normalized for me? Like even me now, that's something that I still deal with. Like is cussing, because I realize that's why I try to listen to so much secular music. Like, I love listening to J. Cole. I love listening to like hip hop music and all that stuff. I still listen to it from time to time with the bros and stuff. But my point is, I realize singing those songs, a lot of that be profanity, or for me personally, it'd be like about like life that I don't live. Like, I used to live in the hood. I got out the hood, thank God. I'm a civilian. C for civilian. I don't bang. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't kill people. Nothing like that. I've never been no punk though, like, or nothing like that. But at the end of the day, when you be singing that stuff, if you don't, it kind of makes you like, kind of, when you sing it, you kind of want to do that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. When I be listening to Young Boy, I be feeling like turn, like what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It definitely makes you feel a type of way. Like, when I listen to gospel music, it resonates with me because that's what I'm trying to live towards. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like music definitely has an effect on your mood. So what music choice you choose can help, like, can affect how you view certain things. So just changing little things. Like I said, for me, cutting down on cussing and just changing my music, and just making a conscious decision. Like, okay, if I do cuss, let me check myself and try to fix it for next time. You know what I'm saying? And just like anything in life, like whatever you're going through, like just admit to what you did and try to fix it. You know what I'm saying? Or ask God to help you fix it and then put it to work. And that's really something that I didn't have understand before, and that's why I kept falling back. Like, there would be cycles where I think I'll break out, I stop, like, you know what I'm saying, doing whatever I was battling with for a couple weeks, and then fold again, and then it's like, dang, this cycle never ends. But really, it's just, I say it's not going to be a overnight process. It's going to be continual work, and whatever you're battling with, it's not going to be overnight. So just putting in the work every single day to work towards that goal. The same way I have a goal to play pro right now. Like I said, I know it's not gonna happen overnight, but the first step already happened. Like, I made the club team, and that I was working towards, and now it's like, okay, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? That's something that's one goal complete. But I'm not gonna be content and get complacent and be like, well, I'm not gonna work out in the morning. It's like, no, I went to church today. It's Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Come Monday morning, I'm up 6 a.m. Let me wake up, do my calisthenics with the push up. I mean, with the weighted vest, do my push ups, all that stuff. Let me stretch, and then let's get to the gym. Like, let's work. And it's just holding myself accountable. And something I personally been praying to God about is to help with my volume and help me stay disciplined and give me wisdom of how to navigate and see who's like for me and who really has the best interest for me, and just anything that's on my mind I pray about. And for me, like I said, I do praying too, but also something like the little stuff is just saying God and just laying it all out there, and that honestly just ease your mind, like that stress, that anxiety that you might be feeling, regardless of what it is. I know everyone faces different challenges and tribulations, you know what I'm saying? And God never says the Bible, like, look at Job. He went through so many trials. Like, there's so many trials throughout the Bible, and I think that really reading the Bible will make you understand it better and understand a lot of the life stuff you go through. Maybe in the Bible it's already been talked about, like for lust. There's so many times in the Bible it says like you gotta watch out for this because it's gonna be like some. It tells you what it basically tells you what you might go through. Like, it's like for the common one that we think about is like the love of money, and it always, people always mess up the phrasing. They always say money is the root of all evil, and it actually says for the love of money is the root of all evil, and just little stuff like that. That's why I would say definitely before, if you're like on the cusp of believing or you don't believe, really read the Bible first and give it a chance. You know what I'm saying? With anything, like, you might not just want to jump in and just believe, and I don't expect you to believe just off the rip. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, there's you have to make a conscious decision to put in the work to understand it better, just like anything in life. So that's something I would definitely leave you with as far as getting into faith. Back to my personal journey, like I said, I know we having a little side conversation, but I think it all like adds to the bigger topic. Um, so I'll say I started reading my Bible a lot more, and then so I always been reading the Bible as far as that, but I wasn't applying it. just like with anything in life, like you could watch all the basketball in the world, but if you never go practice it, you're not going to be getting better. Your IQ's getting better, but your game skills didn't improve because you're not applying nothing to the game. Like you're not going out there and putting the work. Like anything in life you want to do, you gotta do your research on and then actually apply it. So for me, every time I read the Bible, before I was just reading it, just to say I read the Bible. Now it's like, okay, let me read this. Okay, what does that really mean? Let me dissect that. Okay, now I understand. How can I apply that to my life? Like today, I was reading Numbers. I'm reading Numbers. I'm halfway through because I finished the Bible, but like I said, when I read it initially, I was just reading it to read it. Now I'm going by each chapter, just reading it and trying to understand it. I read the study notes and then I think about how it applies to my personal life. And I was reading about how I'm in the middle of Numbers, so it was talking about how Aaron and Moses, basically God told them to give to because they were praying for water for the people, the Israelites, and the Israelites were basically not believing, losing faith in God because they weren't getting exactly what they wanted when they wanted it. And that's something that I personally have struggled with, where it's not, I would say, I don't lose complete faith, but there's definitely hesitancy. Like, where God will be like, hey, you got to give this up. Like, I'll ask him, because like I said, if you don't ask, he's not going to directly tell you every time. You know what I'm saying? But for me, like I said, if my goal is really to go pro, I wanted to know, like, God, like, what do I need to do? And for me, I was definitely conflicted as far as basketball. I was like there was a point where I was like, is this basketball stuff meant for me? And that's where all this pro stuff even happened. I skipped that whole part. I should have got to that first. But basically, my brother had been sending me stuff about like playing pro and overseas, and I always thought it was cool. But I was like, I don't have the funds to do that. Um, One day I was just reading it, you know what I'm saying? Read one of the things he sent me, clicked the link, and then I started like really reading into it. And I see it was only like 200 for the camp and everything. And it was like saying there's going to be 30 teams, recruiters, and all this stuff. And I was like, dang, that would be nice. And then I was like, I have enough to actually get it. But I was like, I don't want to just bank on the fact that it could work, you know? I was like, God, if this is meant for me, I really sat down. And I kid you not, it was so scary because not knowing that and having full faith in God as far as I don't know what's next. And that's scary. Not knowing if your passion, like basketball is my passion, is meant for me. Like, and that was definitely scary because if like I asked for a sign, the sign I asked for him is for the tickets because obviously you got the tryout, but you gotta get there. The tryout's in Vegas, so for me, I stay in Reno right now for college, um, and I would have to get to Vegas, and I wasn't trying to ask everyone else to like include anyone else in this plan because at the end of the day, it's the trials for me. Um, all this stuff is for me. So why would I wasn't trying to involve everybody else. I wanted to come up with a plan, and if it's meant to be, it'll be. So I was just like, God, like, yeah, a round trip to Vegas normally is like, it can be up there. And my thing is, I wanted to have like a day where I got down there, um, and then I was like the day of the tryout, and then like a day, kind of like because I got friends and family in Vegas, like you know what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, to get there, I didn't like none of them are gonna come drive me. So I was like, I don't have a car out here, so I was like, flying is the only option. And I was like, God, if I'm meant to play for this hoop stuff, allow the ticket to be 200 or less. And I remember I made it specific because a round trip can normally be up there like three, four, especially for multiple days. It could definitely be up there. So I told him like this ticket 200 or less. And I remember in that moment I'm on the app looking. I remember I was on the Spirit app because I knew Spirit was going to probably be my best option. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of the jokes, I've flown Spirit once and it was smooth. You know what I'm saying? I normally fly Southwest, but I know Southwest is up there in price. You know what I'm saying? It definitely be up there. So me, I'm like, hey, it's for the try. I ain't trying to break the bank, but I'm trying to get there. You know. So I looked up Spirit, and before I did that, I asked God. I was like, this is the sign. Like, if it's not meant to be, it won't. And I was like, that ticket will be more than 200 if I'm not meant to do it. Because like I said, I could have paid 200, but that would keep me at a balance where I wasn't comfortable being able to pay all the expenses. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to get by, like I shouldn't. It was playing it a little too close, so I said 200 because 200 I was like I'll be fine and it'll be comfortable. It's still a lot of money because last at the time, even now, it's like I'm not made of money. You know what I'm saying? I would say I'm definitely blessed with the lifestyle and everything I have. So I'm very thankful for that. But at the end of the day, money, money comes and goes. But right now, you know what I'm saying? I'm not financially free. Until I get financially free, we're broke. And in my mind, that's broke. You know what I'm saying? Until I'm financially free, I don't have as much as I want. You know, or as much as I like. When you don't have to worry about like, dang, well, let me wait on this check. It's like no, I have enough to pay my bills. Plus, I can go wherever I want. That's financially free. That's where the goal is. So if I as long until I'm at that goal, I'm broke, and I'm a forever say that because that's just how I view it. You know. So yeah, I kid you not, the ticket was $199, and that was the cheapest one. Obviously, there was different ones, but the first one that popped up was $199, and I knew that was a sign from God because I had said 200. So he was like, "Okay, we'll get close to that, but not even hit your limit." That's God. That's what I'm saying. He'll show you a sign, and the thing is, all you had to do is ask for a sign. And like I said, you could easily ask for a sign that anyone could have. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh well, if the sun rises tomorrow, this is a sign for that. Like, but if you really want to see and you really want to like fully test that and see like if you get an answer, make it so like so specific that only God can make a way because that's the God we serve, like the God I serve, Yahweh, God. He is such a forgiving God and a loving God that He'll show you a specific sign. And sometimes it's not a sign you want to see. Like, I know I prayed many times for, oh, if this girl is meant to be, let it be. Then He gave me the sign, and I ain't like the sign, and I try to keep working. And then when it didn't work out, I was looking like, hey, God, well, what's up? Well, He showed you asked for the sign, and or sometimes like, I didn't want to ask for a sign because I didn't know, and that's something that you got to deal with internally because like I said no one likes hearing no, but at the end of the day, no is the real answer, and sometimes you got to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? So got that sign right, and I was like, dang, like it's time, all that stuff. So now May 26th, I have that tryout. And I had the club tryout that was yesterday. That went good, you know what I'm saying? I'm very excited for that. Like I said, but the biggest goal I have is going pro. So because I think I could really be one of in the GOAT talks because I know how much work I put in, and like I said, having God show me that this hoop stuff's meant to me to some degree. Anything I do, I want to be the best. So obviously that's my goal, and you don't have to believe it. Like at the end of the day, I believe enough. God believe in me, my family believe in me, I believe in me. That's enough for me. So I don't really care what other people think. You know what I'm saying? You could have your own opinions, but if you're gonna leave them in the comments, if it's negative, I'm gonna read it and probably laugh at it and not respond because I'm not gonna give you the time of day. But yeah, like regardless of what you say, that's how I'm feeling. I'm being open with y'all. Um, so that was the one sign, right? Before this, I had to tell you how God performed miracles on me because this is what I gave my testimony about. I kind of skipped over that part. The first time God healed me is I remember it clear as day. I'm watching. I'm at my desk right here, just chilling, and I remember the important backstory. So my knee, I play basketball every day. Like I hoop every day. Some whether I was watching, like I do something with basketball basically every day because that's my passion. Like I really just love basketball, and um, I was watching. I was just watching the Prince of Egypt because my knee had been messed up because I don't really know what happened to it exactly. And even still to this day, I don't know how it really got bad messed up. I just remember after hooping one day, I had like a nagging pain. And this pain had been there for like 3, 4 weeks now. And I went to the student health center because that's like the free health center that we have here on campus. And you can go get checked out. And I remember the lady was like, oh, it's just jumper's knee. She was like, do you be dunking a lot? I was like, yeah. So that's what she said. And she gave me a packet with all these stretches. Let's see if I can find it. Might have it. Regardless, that's not important to the story. I got the packet though, and it was showing me what stretches to do. So I was doing the stretches. I'm talking about I was pushing my body overtime trying to get back because obviously I want to be able to do what I love. So I'm trying to spam the stretches every single day, like holding my knee to failure. Like I'm talking about until that pain was like where I couldn't move. I gotta hold it because I was trying to get back as soon as possible. So it was saying it says to 30 seconds. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna do it till I can't move. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I just wanted to get back so bad, and nothing was working. Like it had been 3 4 weeks, nothing, no change. And I remember I was just watching the Prince of Egypt, and I had seen, like I said, it's normal. Hop on your phone, you know what I'm saying? Start scrolling. So I was on Instagram, scroll. I had seen a Jalen Green highlight. That's how I know how detailed it is because I remember, I remember like the details to a T. So I had seen that, and I was watching it, and Jalen Green was hooping. He was like just punching everything. I was like, yo, God, I just want to hoop, like, and that's all I said right there. That was enough, because I kid you not, in that moment, my knee healed. Like God healed me. In that moment, He healed my knee, and I didn't have no knee pain, and I was shocked. Like I literally broke down crying because I had never seen something like that. Like I had heard about God parting the sea. I had read about that in the Bible, how He parted the sea and freed the slaves. I heard about all the miracles in the Bible, how He healed the paralytic man. Like I had heard, told him to like stand up and walk. I had heard about all the stories, all the miracles, but never had it actually happen to me. And it's like God didn't have to do that, because even at the time, it's like I hadn't done nothing. I wasn't deserving of it. Like I said, I had been aiming to be better as far as not sinning and stuff. But at the end of the day, no one's perfect. You know what I'm saying? And it was just so shocking to me that he just looked at me and he was like, "I'll heal you," like, because I had been listening to what the doctor had said. The doctor just said, "Keep stretching." It wasn't working, and I remember I just broke down, and I started calling my brothers. Like I was like, "Yo, like I'm healed. I'm coming to hoop." He said I went to go hoop earlier, and I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna just sit this one out because I know I said I would get shots, but knowing me, those shots turn into, hey, look, you trying to run? I'm gonna try to run and then mess it up even worse." So me, I was just trying to avoid, like, you know what I'm saying, even going out there, because I was like, I don't even want to mess it up, you know. And him healing my knee, I actually went and hooped that day, and I was like, I was punching like with ease, like dunking everything, and I was just so ecstatic because I had been healed. Like there was no denying that, because when it doesn't happen to you, you can say, "Oh well, maybe it's this. Oh well, that happened." You know what I'm saying? Or well, I didn't see it. You know what I'm saying? And I have tatted on me, "For we walk by sight, not for we walk by faith, not by sight." And um, I hadn't really been believing that, honestly. And even though I had multiple miracles, so that was the first miracle. The second miracle is when I remember I was at work and I'm a security supervisor. So to stop people from storming, I just stand there, hold them back, and stuff like that. And I remember I kind of stepped off the stair the wrong way, and my ankle turned like that. Like, let's say this is the word ball. This is my ankle standing straight. It kind of turned the wrong way. And you know how you roll your ankle. But my ankle was like this. It was like OD fat. Like, it was popping out my shoe. And I remember that the whole way, like, coming back from work, we ended up getting food, all this stuff. And my ankle hadn't healed. Like, it was still hurting, like, bad. And I was like, yo, I'm about to be out for weeks. God had other plans, because I get home and I take off my shoe. Like, I'm at the point where I'm already wincing because I already knew it was gonna hurt, you know. And then took off my shoe. I kid you not. As soon as I take off my shoe, my ankle is fine. It's back to normal. It's not swollen no more. It's not even no bump. It's just normal. And I was like, I can't. Like, I kid you not. I started crying again. And I'm not even a person that used to cry. Like, and and that doesn't. I want to make this clear. Like I said, crying does not make you soft. Crying, like, I know in our society they act like crying as a male makes you soft or makes you less than. No, being in touch with your emotions is, honestly, that takes more. Like, I have more respect for people that are in touch with their emotions than those that try to hold it in. Because when you hold it in, that's when you break. When you let it out, that's when it's flowing. think of a river, like, you know what I'm saying, or a well. You know what I'm saying? You can only hold so much water before it overflows. That's the same way you are. Like, you can take in, you can hold some, but when you hold all that in, it starts overwhelming you to the point where that's when you break down. Like, I know for me, the worst year of my life was definitely like COVID times, because I had growing pains. I went from like 5'2" to like 6'3" in a matter of like 2 years. So during that time, I was growing a lot. Like, what is that, like 11? I grew like a lot. You know what I'm saying? I was like here, now I'm 6'3". You know what I'm saying? So definitely a lot of growing pains. That hurt. No one tells you about how bad growing pains are. Terrible experience. I will say, like, when you grow that much, it definitely hurts a lot. So I had to deal with that, and I have a high pain tolerance. Like, getting this tat, nothing. Like 5. The growing pains 10. Like, there's no way. There's no like dodging that or trying to act like it doesn't hurt. It hurts. I will let you know, if you're shorter, wishing to grow, just know with growing comes growing pains. It hurts. Get ready for it. Expect it, so you're used to that. Don't say Reggie didn't let you know. I let you know in advance. But I had growing pains. My grandpa passed away. My childhood like bro, um, Kaylin died. Um, all that happened in a span of like a couple months. So it definitely like hit me. And I had been the type of person that had been, like I said, growing up, I was like in North Carolina. Like I said, North Carolina culture, I would say like the area I lived in, specifically like Smithfield, Clayton area, and kind of the rough area, you know. I would say that growing up, I couldn't cry because it was a sign of being soft, you know what I'm saying? That's what people used to say. So growing up, I definitely used to hold in a lot of stuff that you shouldn't have to hold in, and it broke me. As far as I was trying to act like be tough for everyone, and at that funeral, like I got younger. I got a younger sister, um, and she was super close to my papa. And I just remember that she was like sad about it, and I was super sad about it. But I was trying to be strong for her. But that broke me down, because until the actual day of the funeral, I didn't cry. Like, I was just trying to, like, everyone around me's crying. I'm trying to hold it in, because I've been taught like you gotta hold it in, because that's what strong people do. You know. I seen when I remember it was an open casket. When I seen his body and they started showing like the old memories, all the flashbacks started hitting me. That's when I broke down. That's when all the pain I've been holding in happened, and I snapped. I remember I cried for like a week straight, uncontrollably. So when I tell you, don't ever hold that in. Don't ever feel like you need to hold that in. And um, no matter who you are, like if you need to like talk to someone, if you like, you could put it in the comments. Like I said, I'll read it and listen to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't feel like you have someone to talk to, like I said, you could definitely talk to God about it too. If you don't want to tell me, just because God already knows what you're going through, so you might as well just tell him, like, get it all out. And at the end of the day, that's one person that's never gonna leave. God never leave. Even when I wasn't fully believing, when I was living for the world, where I'm just wilding out, you know what I'm saying? God was still here, because I will 100% say, for me, with all the experiences I went through, good and bad, I wouldn't have made it all the way to here and be in the position I am now without God. So that's another reason why I know he's real, and why I know he's like watching over me. And even making this video, like I said, being this open, that's not like me. If you know me in real life, and you know, like I said, some people will say, like, all the bros will say I'm loud. Like, I'm definitely loud. Funny. I like to make people laugh. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I say other people can see that I don't like. It takes a lot for me to open up to people because of stuff that I've been through. But like I said, God's telling me you need to be open. You need to share your story. So that's what I'm doing today. Like, I just got off church, and this service like resonated with me so much that I've been asking God, like, what I should use this camera to do, and God was just like share everything, and that's what I'm doing today. So if you have any questions, like anything that like you want to know, like I said I'm gonna start doing the Bible readings, but anything like any questions that you have, like as far as I might not be able to answer all of them, but I could definitely ask God for advice, or you could literally go ask Him yourself, like God, this is how I'm feeling about this, and just ask Him. And at first, you might not hear nothing back. Like I will say, when I first started talking to God, I was so far away from Him, I didn't hear much back because not only because He might have not been talking back, mainly because I might have not wanted to see the signs, or I might have not wanted to hear what He had to say. Because sometimes God, like, I'm gonna keep it honest. God gonna keep it real when no one keep it real. Like, if you're messing with someone that's not good for you, and you ask Him, "Is it for me?" You gonna find out whether that's the person just kind of start acting distant, or whether you just peep something, or you find out something that's like, whoa, let me take that step back. Like, or sometimes He just lets you rock and you feel that heartbreak. Like for me, I've been in a lot of failed talking stages, failed like bonds, as far as people say they here for you, they not here for you. I've had friends that I like let into, told about my personal life, you know what I'm saying, use it against me. But and it's easy to have hatred for people, like, you know what I'm saying. And even for me to this day, I'll say loving thy neighbor, like I know it says that in the Bible. That's a lot harder. Even liking people that done did you wrong is hard. Um, it's not gonna be easy at the end of the day. But that's why you gotta tell God everything and just let Him know how you're feeling about it, because He'll help you. Like, even for me, it'll be like little things. Like, I know for me, I didn't realize how much pent up anger I had. So it'll be like I'll be hooping or something, and then someone start talking crazy. I'm like I said, I don't be talking trash no more, because I'm trying to get better at not talking trash. Because I know when I talk trash, I'm getting under your skin, because I know how to talk trash. Like I said, growing up, I heard all of this. Like, I used to be, you go low, I go to hell. Like that. That's what level I used to be. Like, yeah, I didn't really care, and I was, like I said, I know certain things you say are gonna lead to a fight, but I was okay with the fight, because, like I said, even growing up, I fought my whole life. Like, I used to be smash skinny, 5'2", short. So anytime someone said something, I was checking them immediately. As far as I wasn't saying too much, I was taking that hit. Like, soon as you say like a skinny joke, I was straight to your chin or something. Like, you can ask my family. I promise you, like, I ain't got no reason to lie at the end of the day. Now, while I say that I was winning every fight, no. But was I winning by any means? Yes. Like, I was not fighting fair. I'm not gonna lie. Bare hands, you might not be able to see me. But if I hit you first, you don't see me, and there's like whatever is around me, I'm gonna use to win. So you know what I'm saying? I wasn't losing because I was fighting however I needed to. And then also I got a big bro, so if I was losing, we winning. You know what I'm saying? It like, I would say growing up, definitely a lot of fighting and a lot of stuff like that. Like, I have videos of me fighting, all this stuff, like, and that's not good. Like, I'm not gonna preach like fighting so good, but at the end of the day, that's just how I was raised. Like, growing up, like I said, me and my brother, my biological mom, like, shout out to her, like, she did do. I'll say this, like, um, for parents, I definitely had some anger, as far as when I look back to some of the experiences I went through with my biological mom, as I lived with her for most of my life growing up until I was in sixth grade. So before middle school, and I moved to Vegas with my pops and stuff. I definitely experienced a lot of stuff that I would say that I shouldn't have gone through, because me and my brother, my big brother, basically took care of me, like we took care of ourselves, and that led us to go through some experiences, and that's something I had to personally learn to forgive, is that some people aren't ready to be parents, and or some people might be going through some stuff that you don't even know, and that could affect how they treat you or how they view you. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I had to mature and realize, like, later on, because like I said, it had been a long time um, coming, as far as a lot of anger I had, and I didn't even realize I had until I was really honest with God about how I was feeling about certain things, and that's something that I've had to do, and I think that a lot of people will probably need to do, as far as when you're open like that, all that fear, all that anger, all that hatred that you will have, you'll let out. And a lot of people will be like, oh, well, you shouldn't even have that. It's natural to have anger. Like, I'll tell you firsthand, it's natural to have anger. Like, I be having anger about a lot of stuff. Like, and I be realizing, like, after, was it even that deep? No. But in that moment, you felt that anger. You felt mad. You felt angry. You felt sad about, like, a lot of stuff. And some people will say I'm nonchalant or, like, I just don't care enough to ruin my peace. Like, I still care a lot. I think not caring about stuff, like, are you heartless? No. I definitely care. It's just, am I going to let you know I care? No, because what does that change at the end of the day? I'm going to let God know and keep it moving, you know what I'm saying? But for me personally, I've been through so much that um I wouldn't wish on my worst enemies. Like I said, a lot of experiences have made me as mature as I am. Like I'm only 20. I would say that's still young for a lot of people. Like I wouldn't say I'm a kid. Like I'm definitely grown now, and um, but I would say like talking to people my age is definitely a lot harder because some of them still have like a kid mindset as far as they don't have no ambition, they don't have no goals, they kind of just cool with just living. Like, oh, I'm gonna live this, I'm gonna do this, and whatever happen. It's like no, me personally, I got so many goals because it's like I need something. I want to have something I'm working towards every day. And for me right now, that main goal is to go pro. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, you got backup plans. You know what I'm saying? Because people that say there's only plan A, you're preparing to fail. Because while you can prioritize plan A and be like, oh well, there's no other option. You need to have a backup option because if plan A don't go right, you don't be stranded. Like don't put yourself in a predicament that you can't get out of just because you want it to be like, well, this is gonna work. What if it don't? Like you gotta play devil's advocate in your life and be like, well, I want this to happen. Like, but if it doesn't, you gotta have a backup plan because at the end of the day, I know for me, I done had so many backup plans and so many plans in general that God was like, hey, well, that's not in the cards. Like, for me, I thought I had it all planned out. And God kind of was just like, no. And at first I was sad as far as it's like, dang, well, that wasn't, I thought that was going to work, you know? And I just want to like wrap it up basically with not everything's gonna happen how you want, but God never downgrades you. God always wants has a plan to upgrade you. Because why would He not want the best for His child? You know what I'm saying? Like God wants the best for all of us, so we just gotta give Him our heart. So just open up to Him and just tell Him everything, and I promise you, life gonna get better. Even though it might start off bad or it might not be gradual, like it might be gradual, there's like life is more like this, you know what I'm saying? It's full of ups and downs. It's not just all up. Because if it was all up, there's obviously like a roller coaster. It goes up and then there's some downs. Like everything that goes up must come down at a certain point, you know what I'm saying? So even with God, there's gonna be trials and tribulations. Like even for me, I would say like even yesterday, I wasn't like after making the club team, I was happy about that, but I was definitely still like, dang, like there's so much that like I still want it, you know what I'm saying? And I still was like had on my mind as far as it's like, dang, well my finances not where they want I want them to be. It's like, dang, well this ain't going according to how I planned it. It's like, well, basically what I just had to get to is God's like, well, I got a plan, you gotta trust in it. And when I got to that point, it was just like, dang, you're right. Like, because I think about has God ever failed me? Have I ever been in a position that I couldn't get out? Like, even the temptations I battle, God doesn't give you a temptation you can't beat. And I've seen that firsthand now because the same, like I said, I'm still in college. I'm still on campus. I still see all these gorgeous people. I still see all these gorgeous women. It's like now it's just like, okay, me personally, I'm not gonna pursue all these people because what does that do for me? Nothing. You're just losing more energy. Like, why do you like? That's what it boils down to. Do you care more about living for the world than you do for God? That's what it boils down to at the end of the day. Whatever you're battling, if you're battling for something in the world, like I said, whether that be maybe you're going through some like relationship stuff, you know what I'm saying, or you're trying to quit something, you know what I'm saying, or you're tired of like, you know what I'm saying. Some people have different battles. Like everyone has their own battles, but at the end of the day, do you care more about having your pride and keeping that thing more than you care about God, or are you willing to put your ego aside and be like, God, like I can't beat this alone. And that's something I had to personally do. Because for me, it was just like, oh well, I could do it. Because like I said, I grew up thinking like I gotta do it for myself. You know what I'm saying? Even my initial goal to go pro, it was gonna be so. Because like I said, I didn't play in high school. I didn't play in high school. I didn't play in middle school. The last time I actually played basketball for a team, like an actual team, not like intramurals, nothing like that, was when I was in fifth grade and I played on a ranked Selma Thunder AAU team. And even then I played, and I wasn't a starter. You know what I'm saying? I was the youngest on the team, but when I was like probably like six man or whatever, 6'7", you know what I'm saying? But when I got in, I went crazy. Like so, me going to middle school, I'm thinking I'm guaranteed. Like it's Vegas, you know what I'm saying? Because people from North Carolina know North Carolina is considered a hoop state. Like the bet, like typically there's a lot of like even a lot of the pros like Kobe White, met Dennis Smith Jr., all this stuff, and I met them just at the rec center because it's like the hoop, like I guess central, I guess you could say, where you just seeing so many different hoopers that were tough, and it's like the best of the best. Like I'm traveling Charlotte, Wilmington, all these places like to play basketball. I'm like when I get to Vegas, I'm gonna smack everyone there. Like I'm not worried. It was humbling to kind of just see coaches not say you're not better, but just say, hey, you're not there. And then they couldn't really give you a real excuse because it boils down to connections play a big part of anything in life. And sports definitely that's included. I've seen people that were super good that didn't go nowhere because they didn't know too many people. Versus you got some people that aren't super good but they're in higher positions because of who they know. It's not about how good you are necessarily all the time. It's about who do you know? Just the way some people can be smarter and not get a certain job. You know what I'm saying? That's why you really gotta back up yourself. Like as far as humble yourself to a point that where you like I said, you're putting your best foot forward on your whatever your plan A is, but think about what if plan A don't work? Let me have a backup plan just in case. Like for anything in life, like if you had told me that I would have a pro tryout to be able to go play, like when I first came here after being cut from all these teams, I wouldn't have believed you. Because one, I didn't believe in myself as much as like when I got here, I could barely dunk. Like I kid you not, I was 6'3", but one I had knee pain like bad knee pain. Um, and then two, I just wasn't like wasn't as good as I didn't think I was that good, and I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I had to put in so much work. Like if you look throughout my channel, I did a grind to D1. Um, I did so many like recovery videos as far as just showing like how I'm changing to work on fixing that knee problem. I started doing plyos. I started lifting. I got a trainer. I done met so many people along this journey that has made me fall in love with not reaching necessarily the end goal. I know the end goal at the end of the day is gonna happen, but I fell in love with the process. And before I couldn't say that. Like I couldn't say that I liked like every day just knowing like I don't know what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Or like when I was kind of just living for the world, I was just like, dang. Well, today I did this, but where was that leading me to? Versus now I wake up and it's like every day I'm improving. Like even today, it's like I woke up, did my calisthenics, I did my stretching, I went to church, I did this midtown cleanup with the church. It's like I had an impact today, and to me that's all that matters to me. Like just getting better every single day. And even now I'm making this video that's really being open with y'all and hopefully turning some heads, making some people like think like, hey, maybe I should give Jesus my heart, like give God a chance. Like even just watching something like The Chosen, if you don't have the time to read the Bible yet, like maybe like I said, I just started reading again. I'm like probably like only like this far down, like you know what I'm saying? This is how much I've read so far. Actually dissecting it. But even that, it's like that's a start, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I don't expect you to just see this video and be like, hey, I believe, you know what I'm saying? But hopefully this is a start to starting your own personal journey with Christ, because all Jesus wants is you to give him your heart. Because at the end of the day, time and time in the Bible, none of these people are like are perfect. They're all sinners. Even the Bible starts with Abraham. I think his name starts off as Abram. We were talking about this in church. He literally started off as like when God chose him as the person to start like the whole generation of his people, the Israelites. He's what chose Abram when he was a 75-year-old man with a wife that couldn't conceive and actually gave him a child and helped him make the generation of people that would go to the promised land, which was the Israelites. But my point is, Abraham, when he was told, like, hey, God was like, hey, you're chosen, like, get up your things and go. He didn't give him the whole plan. Like, he didn't tell him what everything right then. He just said go. He had to take that leap of faith. And I just hope that this video can help you take that leap of faith in your life, whatever you're going through, that you just turn towards Jesus or turn towards God. You know what I'm saying? And just make that step. And I hope this video is helpful in helping your faith and kind of explaining my journey. Because like I said, my journey has been full of ups and downs as far as my life, as far as my faith, you know what I'm saying? But every time like I have like a doubt or something, like I said, or I feel anxious, now I talk to God about it. That's the difference. Before I would just hold that in. Now it's like, God, like this is how I'm feeling about it. I don't know how this is gonna work, but at the end of the day, I have faith that it's gonna work out. But God, right now, I don't know how you're gonna do it, but that's just how I'm feeling. Like, can you take this thought away? And when you start going into it with that type of mindset and start really like putting him first in your life, I promise you it'll get better. And I'm gonna start using my platform to not only just share basketball. I don't want to put myself in a box with my channel. Like my channel's about me. I made this channel because I wanted to document my life and give you a sneak peek of what my life's like. And God has become a strong part of my life, like that gave me purpose. Like in a time where I didn't know what I was doing, I didn't know why I was waking up every day, and now I know why. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to serve God and just get holier, you know what I'm saying? Get closer to what he has and follow his plan for me. And that plan, whatever it is, I'm just here for the ride and I'm learning day by day. And he told me to make this video. I made this video and I hope it helps. Stay blessed. Like, comment, subscribe for more. And if you have like anything on your mind you want to talk about, just leave it in the comments. And yeah, stay blessed.